back in the summertime this year, I was touring around Europe, and I received a phone call from Tony Banks, a keyboard player in Genesis, and it was strange for two reasons. The first was that I hadn't heard from anybody for about 8 years, and the second reason was that Tony Banks never uses the telephone. He hates the telephone. He always gets his wife to answer the phone. He does, honestly. So anyway, it was kind of strange, and basically, because they were re-releasing Calling All Stations and stuff, they were, you know, just trying to be nice, I think. And they invited me along to a concert, because I've always wanted to see a Genesis concert, and I've never actually seen one. I've always been in it, so it was kind of strange watching the band. But they invited me to a show, and I went along to Hannover and watched the gig there. And several years ago, when I started doing acoustic performances in 2001, I did the version of In the Air Tonight, and I used to tell a few stories, and one of the stories was this, that it was the first week I started working with Genesis, and I used to fly from Edinburgh to London, work Monday to Friday, and then fly home again. And at the end of the first week, I arrived in Edinburgh Airport, and my mobile phone was ringing, and I'm in the car park, so I've got my socks and pants and everything everywhere, and it's raining because it's Scotland, and everything's everywhere. Eventually, I get my mobile phone. It's my mother. I say hello. She says, "Is that you, Ramy, darling?" Because she calls me Ramy. Is that you, Ramy, darling? I said, "Yes, it is, Mum. What is it?" She said, "Phil Collins wants his job back." It's a true story. Phil Collins wants his job back. I said, "What do you mean he wants his job back? I've only been singing with them for 5 days." She said, "No, I saw him interviewed on VH1 and he wants his job back." And here's the best bit. She said, "It sounds to me like he's a little bit short of cash." My mother's mind. And he wants back into the band, you see? And she may be a visionary because he's back. Maybe he is short of cash. So this is my mother anyway. This is the story. And I used to tell this story. And 7 years later, 6 years later, whatever, I'm in Hannover talking to Mike and Tony backstage, you know, blah, blah, about music and stuff. And Phil Collins comes in backstage. And he comes up to me and he says, "Tell your mother I got my job back." Fucker.